Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back, and today we're going to be looking at my favorite anime, and I'm going to force myself to rank them. This video has been requested a lot by a lot of people. I am, of course, a massive weeb, and a lot of my friends know this, and ask me like, hey, yo, what anime should I watch? And I should just, like I send the same thing every time, again and again and again and again, and I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna make a video. I'm gonna just send this to everybody. It's cool. On the side there to the right, I'll be displaying, first of all, which anime it is, but also a few of the categories, so you can look for yourself if it seems interesting. I'll be talking about what they're about, where you can watch them. And yeah, let's get into this. So, we're starting off strong here. At the top, at the top here, first one. This is Akame Ga Kill. The very first anime I watched, and to this day, one of my absolute favorites. Triple S tier, 100%. Oh yeah, I should go over the tiers. So, as you can see, Triple S. Best there ever is. Clearly, everything here you should watch basically immediately. Just stop whatever you're doing, drop it, go watch it if it seems interesting to you. You shouldn't watch things you don't want. Double S tier. Really good. Highly motivating. Should watch, definitely, but maybe not like drop your stuff. S tier. Great anime. A tier. Really good, but not necessary to watch. B tier, yeah. Good, fun, nice, really interesting concept, etc. I'll be ranking them in a way where I'm gonna try and make every tier kind of like the same fullness. I probably won't put a lot into B tier, but it's fun. Most of the anime that go into S tier will probably, for me, have like changed either the way I look at media or the way that I, like think about maybe the world or something. Some anime go deep, man. But yeah, Akame Ga Kill. It's an action anime. It's about this group of assassins who basically try and overthrow the corrupt ruler of this empire. And they use all of these cool massive gadgets, but the biggest point for this anime, which for me made it S tier, triple S tier, is the fact that in the anime, they take a really realistic approach to how things would go. In the sense that, of course, it's a fantasy anime, like there are flying people and stuff. Nothing's like really realistic. But in a lot of series, like for example in Star Wars, there's this famous scene where basically the entire group go through this asteroid field. But as the viewer, like, wait, every single main character is on that ship. Nothing's gonna happen. How could it? Then there wouldn't be a movie. In Akame Ga Kill, you don't have that certainty. You don't know. They could literally all die at any moment. Like, that's what I love about it. It's this constant tension of, as a viewer, you actually don't know what to expect. And as an avid series watcher and writer myself, I really, really, really appreciate that. Because it gives a sense of excitement that you just don't get from your standard, anime that you would just expect anywhere. And that's why Akame Ga Kill is, to this date, my favorite anime and triple S tier. The next in the same line, we have Hana. Now, Hana is a difficult one for me because it's a category that I don't usually watch. It's like romance, slice of life, kind of fantasy. Well, it's not romance, I don't think. I'll have it on the side. But it's very timid. The reason that it's on this list is because it's the only anime and one of the only pieces of media that's actually like made me cry. Like, bad. This series is deep. I'm not kidding. It's so well written and the story is so easy to understand and just jump into. It's only 12 episodes as well, I think. Like, it's really short, maybe 13. But it's so amazing. Just the characters are so well fleshed out. There's no wasted time. Naruto. And that's really why it's for me on this list. If I would have to give it a tier, I think I would put it in S tier for the reason that it was amazing and it's an experience that'll always stay with me, but I wouldn't rewatch it. Like, I've seen Akame Ga Kill, for example, like literally 10 times now. Not even kidding. I've seen that series way too much. But Hana, once you've seen it once, so you kind of know what's going on. It's like, okay, that was an experience, but that's also it, you know. Then here next, actually in the same line, we get Ascendance of a Bookworm, and I think I'm gonna put her at A tier. Really, really, really interesting anime. Also, amazing anime to start watching as like a first anime if you're not that much into action or like fighting and fantasy and that kind of stuff. Ascendance of a Bookworm is basically about this Japanese girl who is like works at a library and basically gets hit by a truck and is reborn into this new world. It's what's called an isekai, different world in Japanese. As well, someone who still has all of her memories. Issue is that in this new world, there aren't any books, and as someone who worked at a library and was an avid reader, she's like, I want my books. As such, she basically makes it her life's mission at like 7 years old, 6 years old, to start making books, since this like medieval kind of world doesn't really have much of any kind. And she just goes around like flexing her intelligence at everybody. She can do math better than her parents, you know. And it's funny, it's a comedy, it's well written, the story is interesting, I think. Also for me, like, there are a lot of science facts in there as well, like how do you make books? I would have no idea. But now I do, because of the anime. It's like a learning experience and it's a funny experience as well. Amazing anime to watch as like a first time viewer. If you're not that much into like fighting and action, watch it. It's amazing. Highly recommend. Code Geass. Code Geass is an anime that was recommended to me like 10 years ago. And I just never watched it. I was like, I saw the first episode, didn't look that very interesting. And then recently, like a few months ago, I was like, I want something new to watch. You know what? Why not try it out? And I started watching, and I started watching, and I kept watching, and I kept watching, and I kept, and oh my god. What a masterpiece. It's a little bit of an older anime, but Code Geass is a writing masterpiece. It has a like mecha theme going on with like big robot suits that people get into. I don't really like that aspect of it, but what really catches me on Code Geass is especially the ending, like the way the series ends. Wow. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but like literally I immediately messaged my brother like, what the hell, what just happened? Please help me, I'm dying. But yeah, no, Code Geass, amazing writing. It's action, it's fancy. I really don't want to spoil too much. It goes really deep into like political society and also racism and discrimination and how to attack that and how to change it with, well, this special power called a Geass. And it's just plot twist after plot twist after plot twist after plot twist, and at a certain point you just don't trust anything anymore. That man is a beast. Next up we get an anime I think a lot of people know, Death Note. For me, Death Note is a hard one. I think I'm gonna stick it right up in the middle because I loved it. I've seen it like 3 times. I hated the ending, like just crap. Didn't like it at all. But it was okay. It was okay. It was fun. But it doesn't really, for me, have a lot of rewatch value. In the sense of like, it's a great anime to watch as a first anime. It's really well made. It's really popular. Lots of people have seen it. And well, it's really interesting. Just the concept alone. It's about, well, the Death Note. It's a literal notebook where if you write someone's name in it, you can basically make them die. And Light Yagami, the main character, basically goes on a streak of using his Death Note to kill criminals and stuff, but obviously you can't kill criminals, that's still killing. So the police go after him and it's this tactical battle of wits versus an invisible killer. And he faces off against basically what becomes his arch nemesis, L, who is like the best detective out there. Really interesting, but yeah, I don't know, it didn't really grasp me too much. Maybe if I have too many things in S tier, I'll move it up to double S, because it was really good. And like Yagami is still one of my favorite characters, and the concept is great. I actually have a physical notebook here as well. Sadly enough, it doesn't work. I tried, but you know. The next we have a really little known anime. All of these have, well, maybe not Sons of a Bookworm, but this series here, it's called Death Parade. I'm gonna put it in B tier, I think, for the sense that the concept is amazing, super interesting. I loved it the second that I understood what was going on. Basically, what Death Parade is about is when it's a universe where if you die, instead of going to heaven or hell, you basically go to this lounge, this bar, you know, you just chill. You can order a drink, whatever. And at this lounge, you're basically faced off against someone else who died. And you have to play a game together. However, all of these games are like rigged to, you know, like basically mess with your brain. For example, there was a pool game where there was a darts game where if you hit, for example, a triple 20, you would literally pierce the other person's heart. So it's like you want to win the game because you think that winning the game gets you to heaven. But in reality, if you just go like for the kill and you're like, no, I'm greedy, I want to get, you know, I want to win, and you keep basically hurting the other person, then the game is like, or they are like, well, yeah, no, I'm sorry, dude, you messed up. You were rude, you basically showed your true self, now you're going to hell. So it's this mental battle of really interesting game design and stuff. The anime itself, the characters, not as fleshed out, not as well written. I mainly watch it for the concept, and that's also the only reason it's on this list, and I think that that's why I'm going to put it in B tier. Just because of that. But yeah, really interesting, highly recommend. Dr. Stone, also a double S, triple S, double S. Really, really, really interesting concept. The world frozen over. Well, not frozen over, petrified over. Every single living human being has been petrified by some external force. We still don't know what. The new season is airing right now. And basically, 3,000 years later, this dude, Senku, wakes up from his petrification. He actually woke up by counting every second ever since he got petrified, and him activating his brain generated enough energy for the petrification to eventually wear off 3,000 years later. And he's like, so now we have a world with no technology or whatsoever. How are we gonna live? Luckily, Senku is a science genius, and he makes like cars and batteries and like houses and technology, and you're just looking at that like, what? What? It's really interesting. I don't want to spoil too much. It goes into an entire warfare as well between, do you want to preserve this new nature world, or do you want to build back up society as it used to be? Really interesting. Highly recommend. Just watch, like, the first episode is kind of rough, didn't hook me immediately, but from the second episode it gets really good. And oof, I just saw what the next anime is going to be. Fairy Tail. Fairy Tail and Akame Ga Kill, to me, are my babies. They're my favorite two anime by far. Fairy Tail is the anime that, you know, got me basically through high school in many ways. And it's an anime that I've seen many times. It's an anime that means a lot to me, and it's such an amazing experience to watch it. Sadly not. It is like 300 or 400 episodes or something. So it's not as accessible, but just even watching like short snippets in between, it's so amazing. The music is great, character design is absolutely phenomenal, and the entire point why it's also so high on my list is that instead of having one protagonist really in the story puts this group of characters, the guild Fairy Tail, named after the series, as a quote-unquote protagonist, where every single character in there is just as important and is just as featured. And that gives this sense of welcoming to you as a viewer, as if you are part of the Fairy Tail Guild. Nuxtaku, another anime YouTuber, has a great video on it. I'll link it down in the description below if I can remember. It's basically a whole thing about why Fairy Tail is the greatest anime ever. Sadly enough, Fairy Tail does like get a lot of hate online because they think it's like flat or something. I don't know. I love it. Fairy Tail is amazing. I've seen it too many times to count. Go watch right now. Natsu is bae. Then we get the Fate series. In this, basically, I'm going to be judging this on Fate Stay Night, Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works, and Fate Zero. Fate / something is a big series. It has Fate Grand Order, Fate Apocalyptica, or something. There's a lot of them. And the main series is Fate Stay Night, and Fate Zero is like the prequels to them. And this anime showed me my favorite character in anime ever, Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh is such an amazing boy. He's an absolute Chad, and I love him to bits. He's basically this like old Egyptian god who has this gigantic sense of self-worth and like, I'm the best and nobody can beat me. But the funny thing is, it's true. He's not even kidding. He is the best. And he has this way of like effortlessly fighting his enemies, and just like, instead of going in screaming, he just calmly walks onto the battlefield and he has this aura of majesty around it. Character design is absolutely amazing. He's more prominently featured in Fate Zero, like the prequels, which I also like more. Highly recommend. Also, as a first action anime, really well written, really easy to understand. A friend of mine is actually watching it right now, and he's also really excited about it, so that's good. Also, it's on Netflix, so it's more accessible. That's nice. And that brings us to an anime I just had to put on the list because it was my introduction to ecchi, and it is, of course, Freezing. Freezing is an anime. It's basically about a bunch of girls fighting each other in like wars and stuff. However, the guys are used as a power source for the girls. Now, you might be like, okay, how are the guys a power source for the girls? Well, I mean, you know how like in real life we make babies? Yeah, they make power. It's so bad, but it's so good. It's just the funniest show ever. It's like, you can't take it seriously, you really can't. But it's so funny, and I just absolutely loved it. I highly recommend it for people who just like want something dumb to watch. It's great for that. But yeah. Freezing, man, oh my god. Guilty Crown. Again, amazing anime. Season 1, absolute dog crap. Like, oh my god, I can't. Season 2, golden, like, Geass. Oh my god. It's, because of that reason, I'm gonna put it in an S tier, I think, like, straight in the middle, along with Death Note. I do actually think I'm gonna put it like this. Death Note and Guilty Crown are very similar to me, also for the same reason. Death Note, amazing first season, crappy second season. Guilty Crown, crappy first season, amazing second season. Guilty Crown is a little bit more complicated than most anime. I also wouldn't recommend it as a first watch. But basically it's about this normal dude, who just basically randomly gets his hand on this like magic virus power thing that gets him really strong and really powerful. Point was that in this universe there's a whole rebellion going on, and the power was meant for the leader of the rebellion, who's like, bro, why would you do that to us, man? And now he has a choice. Either he joins the rebellion or he tries to ignore him, but he will still always be a target because of the power that he has. Initially he like tries to ignore them, but like life catches up with him, and I won't spoil much more. But in the second season, it gets really psychological. because basically there he's surrounded by people who don't have as much power or are stronger than him. And it's this whole power dynamic of, like, in a post-apocalyptic scenario, what do you do? Who lives? Who survives? How do you ration food? How do you decide who gets to go where and who gets to do what? And I love post-apocalyptic series and scenarios for that same reason, just the psychology behind it, like what's happening, you know, how's it going? And that's why it's on my list. Just the psychology behind it is absolutely amazing. Then we get Haikyuu. I also see him running kind of long, so I'm gonna try and keep it short. Haikyuu is a volleyball anime. You might be like, what do volleyball and anime have to do with each other? Answer, absolutely nothing, but this anime is friggin' amazing. Holy shit. Haikyuu is an anime about this dude who's really enthusiastic about volleyball, but he's really short. Like, really short. And in volleyball, height usually is everything, because you can block higher, you can strike higher. Just, it's easier to live as a tall person in volleyball. But he has a dream as a small dude, and he's like, yes, I'm gonna do this. And to his credit, he does a really good job. And it really shows how even against bad odds, with real good effort and just hard work, you can really get somewhere. I'm gonna put it, I think, in double S tier, because first of all, like, watching this anime made me want to go play volleyball in real life. Like, let that sink in. That's the amount of power this anime had over me. The actual anime is so good that it made me want to go out and play volleyball, a sport that I've never really played before. Also, like, the counter play, the quote-unquote antagonist, is basically what becomes his best friend, but first his arch nemesis, who beat him in primary school, like him and his school, and then eventually turns out to be his teammate, and they have to work together, but of course they hate each other, and it's comedy, it's fun, it's strong, it's empowering, it's really good, just exciting the whole way through. Even if you, like, have nothing with volleyball, as I did. I knew nothing about volleyball, I didn't think it was interesting. Actually, my cousin played it, but I had no clue. And then I watched this and I was like, hell yes. Then we get Highschool DxD. Highschool DxD is an interesting anime in the same lines of Freezing. I had to put it on here, one, because of its notoriousness. Highschool DxD is just, well, really famous in the anime community, and it's an anime you have to have watched. The only reason it's on here is because it, like, features dragons prominently, and I have a real big weak for dragons. Same reason Natsu over there in Fairy Tail is my favorite character, because it has a lot to do with dragons as well. There are a lot of dragons in Fairy Tail. I like dragons. But yeah, Highschool DxD, terrible writing, kind of funny, actually. I like the jokes. It, like, tries to make a story arc, but it just comes down to nothing. And it's just, it's so funny. It's so dumb. It's great. I really recommend it. It's just, you shouldn't watch it seriously. Kind of the same as Freezing. Just, like, see what's up. If you ignore all the, like, dumb writing decisions, it's actually pretty good. Yeah, maybe actually, yeah, I'm looking at A tier here. It's pretty empty, but I'm sure we'll find something else. Yeah, I see one. Okay, next up in the list is Hunter x Hunter. Double S tier, definitely. Really good anime. Amazing last season, amazing first season, amazing middle season, amazing everything. Maybe I'll even move it up later to triple S. Hunter x Hunter, one of my favorite series. It's about basically these two little dudes who want to, like, become big and strong, but they're already pretty decently strong. And, like, the first season is all about how these two, basically kids, which you can kind of see on the picture, Gon and Killua there, go and try about to become hunters, to become, like, strong hunters, but they basically smash all the competition, even though they're that small. So then in the first season you're like, okay, cool, so we get it, they're strong even though they're small, interesting, fun. Then they throw you a curveball, and in like this first episode of the second season, all of a sudden they're like beat senseless. And this whole new mechanic of Nen is introduced, and they're like, wait, what? We aren't strong? And you as a viewer are like, wait, what? They aren't strong? And it's like, it's really funny, and it's really like a big contrast. And then they go on this whole training journey to become stronger. And instead of just like doing a montage with like some beats under there, they actually really go on a training journey. And they like meet people and they do things. And the arc is really well written. You really do feel for them. All of the characters are well fleshed out. A few of my favorite characters in there. Kilo as well, the white-haired boy. Absolutely amazing character, I love him. So yeah. Then we get a brand new anime actually, Jujutsu Kaisen. I'm gonna put him in S tier. Jujutsu Kaisen, to me, is a potential triple S tier. The reason I say potential is because, first of all, the anime is still airing, so you know, they still have time to mess it up. But it's a shonen which is coming up on like all of the themes that are popular with a lot of people. It's really good. It's really fun. I'm actually gonna put it ahead of Death Note as well. It's really, really, really good. It's really interesting. The story is well written. The characters are well fleshed out. And basically, it's about this guy who just gives no shits whatsoever. He just does what he wants, even at like the detriment of himself. But he has a really good heart and he wants to save people. And there's like this whole thing where there are curses or demons, as I like to call them. And this like Omega demon, basically the curse god, thousands and thousands of years ago died. And all that's left of him are his 20 fingers, because he had 4 arms. Big flex. And this dude is like, okay, you know what? Why not? I'll just eat it. That'll solve all the problems. I'll just eat the damn finger. And he actually swallows a finger. And thereby, of course, because it is like imbued with lots of curse power. He's like, what is happening to me? And he almost dies, but he actually lives pretty good. And then there's this whole tension of, wait, is he going to be taken over? Is he not going to be taken over? This summary of the series is terrible. I hope you forgive me. Please go watch it. It's absolutely amazing. Then we actually get a series called Kakegurui, I think. I'm gonna put it in A tier. The only anime I've ever seen only on Netflix. It got recommended to me by Netflix, and I was like, oh, that looks interesting. I'm gonna watch that. And it was really, really, really interesting. It's an anime about gambling. And as usual, the main character, the protagonist, quote unquote, of the story, is amazing at gambling. She has like this amazing memory, and she just walks into everything, and she just loves taking unnecessary risks. And basically the entire series takes place in this school where gambling is everything, and where like your basically life status is based on whether or not you win a card game. And of course everybody cheats all the time, but they don't care, and they just play on. And it's like, if you can't catch them cheating, you're just lost. You weren't good enough. It's really funny. It's really interesting. It also gives a lot of really interesting games where I was like, ooh, I might want to try that. Which is really interesting. Like rock, paper, scissors, but you don't get to choose rock, paper, scissors. Everybody else in the room gets to put a card with rock, paper, or scissors on it in the box. You pick 3 cards. Those are your only options. And you're like, what card should I play? It's super interesting. But yeah. Kakegurui, Netflix, amazing. Highly recommend. Then we get Log Horizon. I'm actually also going to put that in A tier. It's also an isekai, very similar to a series we'll get to later on, Sword Art Online. And basically it's about this game which becomes a real life. Basically the game gets stopped and continues as a real life experience, and all of the players are quote unquote trapped in the game. With all of their powers and stuff intact. And now they gotta try and make a civilization inside of the game world. But what sets Log Horizon for me apart from all of the other anime that do that is the fact that they can actually get out. eventually. Like, the currently newer season is airing right now, and of course we don't know how it's gonna end, but they actually found a way to communicate with the outside world, which makes it different because the anime writers, they didn't just be like, okay, yo, this is the concept, we're just gonna put them in this world and we're gonna roll with that. There's like actually a deeper level of writing going on, like, okay, but how are they eventually going to go get out? Like, there is an end goal. It's not just living there like aimlessly. There's an actual goal, because also, of course, after living in a game for like 2 years, do you want to stay? Do you want to go back and like to the real world, give up all your powers? Like, well, what do you do? It's hard. Really interesting. I wouldn't recommend it as a first watch, but if you like games, if you like MMOs, like Destiny and that kind of stuff, really fun. Watch it. Great. Also, the main character, super funny, super interesting, really cool. Next up, Mirai Nikki, or in English, Future Diary. Mirai Nikki is about this basically god who's like, yeah, boys, I'm dying, so I gotta find a replacement. How are we gonna do that? Okay, we're gonna play a big game. I have these 10 people here whom all keep a diary daily about, like, you know, whatever. Maybe somebody keeps a diary about, you know, like what food they eat every day. Maybe somebody keeps a diary about what criminals they catch as a cop being, you know, and like what they did. And then their diaries basically get upgraded to a point where their diaries can see into the future. Like, they can see, and like in your diary you'll get entries from the future. So for example, if you're like keeping a diary on what you eat, and you look at your diary in the morning, you'll see like, hey, I'm eating pasta for dinner tonight, apparently. But what makes the series really interesting is that one of the persons, like one of the people in the, like with a diary is, oh, what's his name again? Yu, I think. And Yu keeps a diary about himself. In his phone, he writes like, I went to this, I did this, I went there, I did this, etc, etc, etc. But one of the other diary holders is actually a crazy ass stalker woman, girl, Yandere. And she keeps a diary about him and everything that he does. And she's absolutely obsessed with him, and she's a little bit crazy, maybe, just a tiny little bit. You really get into that on the later seasons. It's quite interesting. But yeah, no, Mirai Nikki, really well written, really interesting. I won't spoil too much, but, you know, like, it gets really deep. Oh yeah, the whole point is that the diary users have to kill each other, and there can only be one left. But what do you do if, you know, like, you don't want to kill another person? It's harsh, but it's really interesting. Really well written, highly recommend. A definite A tier for me, I think. Not yet S tier in the sense that, like, after one watch I was like cool with it. It's like, yeah, sure, fine, it's nice. But it's stuck with me forever. It's such an interesting concept. It's such a unique concept. Go watch it. It's fun. It's good. It's also not too long, so it won't take you like ages. Really great. Speaking of ages, how about Naruto? Sadly enough, I gotta put Naruto in whatchamacallit, triple S, or do I put him in double S? This is hard to me. No, I think I'm gonna put him in double S. Purely for the reason of fillers. I will put him at the front of double S though. Actually, I'm gonna order this real quick. Hunter x Hunter over all of those, definitely. Fate over those. Dr. Stone or Haikyuu? No clue. I'll figure that out later. Naruto is an amazing series, amazing soundtracks, amazing writing until the very friggin' end. The last few episodes of the main series were just absolute terrible, lazy writing, Deus Ex Machinas left and right, and just screwed with the entire thing. I don't want to spoil the end, so I'm just gonna say big spoiler alert here and skip ahead like 20 seconds if you want to like not get spoiled. But basically what they did is they put they like hyped up this bad guy entirely, And then at the very end, when like the bad guy was actually doing the bad things, it was... Sorry about that. So basically at the end, when the bad guy was doing the bad things and he was actually, you know, like being the bad guy, which was interesting. And then we're like, oh, now we have to deal with him. And he just gets written out. Like, they just go like, no, you know what? Never mind. We're just not gonna care about him. We're just gonna, like, what? You spent all of this time hyping up this character and now you decide not to use him? What's wrong with you guys? It's just, it's so irritating. Like, they try and play it off as if it was planned or something, but I don't buy it. Amazing anime, really, really, really cool sequences in there. It should have stopped somewhere mid, like, 14th season, I think. After the Naruto versus Pain fight. Because that was an amazing ending. It would have been perfect, but they just forced it to go on for too long. Also, a lot of filler episodes in there. Like, if you're gonna watch Naruto, take a guide somewhere. If I can find one, I'll link it in the description down below. But, like, just take an episode watch guide, because there are, like, a ton of episodes. You can just skip, because nothing happens in them. It's just filler arcs. Yeah. Next anime, One Punch Man. Triple S tier, 100%. One of my favorite anime. What I like in anime, one of my favorite concepts, is something that's called an OP character, or an overpowered character. In the sense that I like that feeling of, you know, like being able to face all evils. Be like, haha, I can do anything. And One Punch Man is literally that. It's just, well, a dude called Saitama who defeats all of his enemies with one punch. Issue with that writing wise is that, and the reason that pretty much nobody ever does that, is that, well, now you have a character who can win everything. How do you make the story interesting? How do you put like any amount of pressure on there, you know? Like, how do you keep tension? How do you... It's really, really hard writing wise. But they did it really, really, really well in this series. His character fits perfectly with his personality and his powers. All of the side characters, like Genos, who's like a super cyborg who is assumed to be really powerful but gets beaten every time and basically looks up to Saitama as his like sensei. Yeah, One Punch Man, fun for all ages, fun for all, well, maybe not all ages, I would say like 10 years and up, probably, PG-10. Fun for everybody, great first anime to watch, really fun storyline. Third season coming out in 2022, probably. Really looking forward to that. Second season was a little bit less than the first season, but the first season was really, really, really good. Highly recommend. Go watch it. It's on Netflix. Just do it. Watch the first episode. It's great. Speaking of great and first episodes, how about No Game, No Life? Definite S tier for me, I think. Maybe double S if we get more S's. I will put it higher than Jujutsu Kaisen, I think. Yeah, definitely. No Game No Life is in the same train of game design and like writing design as whatchamacallit, Death Parade, down there in B tier. However, one, they do it a lot better, and also the characters are a lot more interesting. Basically, these siblings get transported to this other world where everything is decided by games. Kind of actually like Kakegurui. However, you can make like magical bets on it, you know, so you can be like, hey, if I win this game of tic-tac-toe, you get my life. But if you win, I want a free hamburger. Like, you can just do that, and the rules of the universe will force it to happen, which is really interesting. And what the like main people in this world don't know is that these two siblings have been playing games their entire lives and are like hyper intelligent and super smart and super funny, and it's great. Just the entire series is about these two guys, the guy and his sister, just going around basically messing people up with the games, obviously, and just being like, but what if I do this? Really famous scene in there, I think it's like in one of the earlier episodes, is a chess game where it's not normal chess, and like the enemy as her first move, you know, like the sister plays the game first against quote unquote their enemy, and she's like, pawn to d4. Very standard opening. We're going for London. And then the enemy is like, okay, e-pawn, forwards. And the pawn, purely by her charisma, moves forward 3 squares. Instead of the normal 2 it could do. And then they're like, wait, what? You can do that? You just say pawn forwards? That's not a chess move. And like this, basically it's revealed that it's not actually a chess game, but it's like an actual war between the pieces. And you can actually talk to them and inspire them. And the guy basically goes on this like entire dating sim rant with the enemy queen. And is like, please, no, you're the love of my life, I need you back. And it's just so stupid, it's so funny, and it's really well written. The design is really interesting. It never got a second season, which I really hate because I loved it. But apparently they just didn't have the funds to make a second season. No Game No Life, it's short, it's amazing, really, really good watch. It's only 12 episodes, so go watch that as well. In the same line of Log Horizon, we get Overlord, which for me would have to be a double S tier. I like it more than Naruto, I think. Or do I put it in triple S? It is one of my favorites. No, I think double S. Purely double S because the writing is a little bit lazy and it's not very interesting. But just the series as a whole is so funny. Again, it's an isekai in the sense of that there's this world, this game, where only one person at the end before the game gets permanently shut down is still in the game, but then the game gets shut down and he's stuck in the game forever. But he was part of like this massive guild and he has all of this power and he's super powerful. But he's stuck in this game and he has to go make a name for himself. But he's a skeleton. So anyone he talks to is gonna be like, what the hell, who is this, what's going on? And it's this very political game of like talking to people and like putting out minions and like having your servants go talk to things. Really, really interesting. It's political, it's military, it's funny, it's comedy, it's strategy. There's just so much going on and it's really, really, really fun. I can't stress enough how this anime has like, I've seen it I think like 6 times. It's so good. You should go watch that as well. You should watch all of these. It's a lot, but it's so good. Another B tier anime here, I think. I'll put it before those two though. I'll even put it before Death Parade. Owari no Seraph. Again, it's on this list for the same reason Haikyuu is, in the sense that I've never had a thing for vampires. Then I watched Owari no Seraph and I was like, oh my god, vampires are cool. They rock. Really interesting concept. It's about like this world where basically these 2 best human friends try to escape from a vampire prison, and one does actually escape and joins the human military fighting against the vampires, but the other one gets caught and becomes a vampire himself. So now you have these 2 childhood like friends since forever who are on opposite sides of a war, and it's like, what's more important, you know, like the people you grew up with or the people that took care of you, or the vampires that took care of you. It's really interesting psychologically. It's really interesting writing. The characters are really well fleshed out. Really interesting concept. It's also not that long. Highly recommend. Parasyte, or Kisyu, is an anime, also again kind of quote-unquote post-apocalyptic, which I love, purely because of the psychology. Oh, I want to put it in double S tier, I think, and I think that with that we're moving Overlord up to triple S. Parasyte is an anime where basically these parasites fall down to the earth and they infect humans. They can't infect all humans because there are not as much of them, but they basically just infect humans and they take over the bodies. What makes them special is that they can manipulate these bodies to their will, as in they can like make blades out of everything. You can like change your head to be a giant knife. And they want to clearly take over the world, and they want to eat humans and do their thing. Of course, the humans eventually notice this because, you know, corpses are being found left and right. And then they start to fight back, and it's the whole thing. And the main story goes about this guy who actually is infected by a parasite, but sees it happening and manages to keep the parasite in his right arm, where the parasite doesn't have time to settle in his brain and just decides to live in his arm and in his right hand. So you have this human parasite hybrid between the two, who is unique to this world. And it's kind of, again, like, what do? Do you side with the humans? Do you side with the parasites? Neither will take you, because both of them are like, no, you are the enemy. So you try and keep it secret, but also like you're being targeted because you're a parasite or a human. And it's really interesting. It's about this like companionship between two enemies that like, well, are literally stuck to each other. So what do you do? Highly recommend. Really, it's also not that long. I think it's on Netflix, maybe. Actually, maybe not. I don't know. Really good, really great anime to watch as a first anime as well. It also really shows how anime doesn't have to be all sparkly and childish and fun. It's really dark. It gets really like psychological, and it's super good. They get Psycho-Pass, which is actually same line. I'm gonna put it in S tier. Again, it's in here because of the super interesting world concept. Put it in front of Anohana. Psycho-Pass is a universe where technology has advanced to a point where you can literally see with your gun if someone has evil intent or not. You know? So, like, for example, all of the police have, like, these guns that they can shoot at people, but only at people with evil intent. So, for example, if somebody tries to rob a bank, then you can just freely shoot your gun wherever, and you won't hit a civilian because they're just scared, but you will hit the bank robber because he wants to steal money and hurt people. This makes it so that, first of all, nobody can really do anything because your intent is being monitored everywhere. Like, if you even think about trying to do something evil, you'll just get arrested. So that's already a lot of tension, but then here comes a sociopath, someone who does evil things without having a single, like, malevolent, or what's the word? Beep. Single, okay. I'm just gonna call it a single evil intent. Like, he doesn't mean evil, well, he does mean evil, but he doesn't feel any regret or something. He's just, you know, cool, doing his thing. And all of a sudden, the police's guns, they don't work anymore. Because he doesn't think he is evil. The guns don't see any, like, malice in him. Malice, that's the word, malice. So you can't shoot him, you can't arrest him, and he can just go about doing his thing, but how do you stop it? And it's this really interesting psychological concept. You follow a girl who, like, wants to become a cop and notices the flaws in the system and is, like, faced with all of these problems. Really interesting. I've seen it once. I want to rewatch it soon again because it's been too long. Also, one of the first, or like earlier anime I watched. Really good. Go watch it. It's amazing. Speaking of amazing, triple S tier right here. Do I put it over Code Geass? Yes or no? I think so, but it's really close. Akame Ga Kill and Fairy Tail are interchangeable for me, and the 7 Deadly Sins and Code Geass are interchangeable. The 7 Deadly Sins is an anime about, well, the 7 Deadly Sins, and they basically just go about their thing doing in the universe. It's a complicated story. It's really easy to get into. The first season sucks. I hate it. Second season, absolutely amazing. And the third season is currently airing, and it's just wow. Plot twist after plot twist. At like the end of the second season, a certain thing is revealed that I won't like reveal right now, obviously. And it makes you rethink the entire series. Everything that's happened in the entire series is all of a sudden just flipped upside down. You just look at it like, wait, what? Excuse me? This was going on all this time? How is this? What? And it just broke my brain. So, of course, the second that got revealed to me, I rewatched it, and like I noticed all of these little things that the writers like snuck in there. First of all, showing really good writing, but also showing that, you know, like this was the plan all along. And it's just absolutely insane. I talked with my brother about this, and he also immediately was like, "Oh my god, what just happened?" Like, it's really accessible. It's amazing as a first anime to watch for anybody who likes a little bit of action and comedy. It's funny, it's good. It's on Netflix, which makes it easy as well. Go watch it. It's super good. Super, super good. Yeah, no, actually, I think I put it in front of Code Geass for probably because it's more accessible for more people. Oof, Shokugeki no Soma coming in, kicking Overlord back to double S tier, I think. Also, in the same line as Haikyuu, in the same line as Owari no Seraph, in the same line as lots of other things. Shokugeki no Soma is an anime that got me excited about cooking. It's an anime about cooking, and it's exciting. You might be like, what's exciting about watching people cook? And honestly, I couldn't tell you, but this anime does an amazing job at it. It's all about this guy, Soma, whose dad, unknowingly, was this amazing world-class cook. But they just have this small diner outside of town. And obviously, so like the kid learned all of his dad's skills in the kitchen, and he becomes really skilled with a knife and knowing how to cook and stuff. But then he goes to this like classy cooking school, and all of a sudden he's faced with challenges because he's not the best cook anymore. But people judge him for being from, you know, like a small family, small diner, nobody knows who he is. But then he cooks something amazing, and people are like, oh, what's going on? He must be cheating. And it's just, oh, it's so funny. It's an amazing comedy, probably the funniest series I've seen up to date. Main character, really, really, really well written. The romance in the series done really well. Lots of anime don't do romance at all, or if they like hint at romance, they never go into it. Spoiler alert, Shokugeki no Soma does at the end. And it's great, and it's lovely, and just life is complete. And this is one of the few animes where I was sad it ended, but I understood. Like, it was okay. Like, I gave it my blessing. I was like, yes, it's okay. This is perfect. You go rest now. Unlike Fairy Tail, I need another season of Fairy Tail. Why did it end? God, why did you do this to me? Yeah, sad. Shokugeki no Soma. Cooking. Amazing. Funny. Funny. Really good anime to watch as a first one as well. Although it'll be a weird introduction to anime for you, but it's good. Then we get the fabled Sword Art Online. Where to put you? Double S, triple S, single S. It's difficult. Sword Art Online for me is an anime where the first season, triple S. Easy. Right there. Up there. Triple S. Second season, double S. It's okay, or the second arc of the first season. It was good, but it could have been better. Third arc, third season. Hell no. Single S. Still, no, actually no. A tier, not even S. Not even super tier. It's just bad. It was Like, it was entertaining, but it was just maybe even B tier. It was not good. I didn't like it at all. But the first season was so amazing, so it's... Yeah. I'm gonna put it in S tier. I will put it ahead of the pack though. First season, everybody can watch it. It's super fun. It's about this world where, again, everybody is stuck in a game. However, the maker of the game basically publicly exclaims that anybody who tries to leave the virtual world will die unless they beat the game. So like now, hundreds of millions of people online, like in the real world, are stuck in this virtual reality game where if they try to leave, they will die, so they have to complete it. But of course, you know, you have a life and stuff. And it's about, you know, like this guy who's just a normal guy and tries to live in the world, but gets really strong and doesn't really associate with people or with the whole thing of trying to beat the game, and just lives his life. It's funny. It has amazing romance. Character building is really strong. The world building is really good. The antagonists are really well written, which is also mainly why the third season failed for me. First season, it's on Netflix. Go watch it. Super good. Super good. Tokyo Ghoul. Another double S anime for me. I'm actually gonna... do I put it in triple S? No. Same, I'm gonna put it in double S, I think. But then... this is difficult. Okay, I'll balance things out later. Tokyo Ghoul is an amazing anime. It's about this universe where humans live alongside ghouls who can only survive on human flesh. But they're in the minority, which makes it difficult, of course, because they look just like humans and, well, they have to eat humans. Of course, you could also, like, go to the morgue, eat humans there, but then that's, like, old flesh, and that's not very nice or something. You would have to cook it. And most ghouls don't do that because they're powerful, so they just kill humans. Kaneki-kun, the main character, unknowingly and undecidedly becomes a ghoul. He was just a normal kid, but he's basically forced to become a ghoul. And he gets thrown into this world of chaos where he just wants to live a normal life, but he can't because, well, first of all, he now has to eat other humans. I say other humans, he just now has to eat humans. He's not human anymore. And that's, of course, a gigantic psychological struggle. I won't spoil too much of the entire story just because it's that good. But I showed a friend of mine the last episode of season 1. Just half of the last episode of season 1. And that episode alone, like, the stuff that was happening there made her be like, yes, I want to watch this. Okay, that's really, 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 really interesting. Let's go. I want to see that. And it was the same for me. Season 1 is absolutely amazing. That last part of the last season, or of the first season, oh my god. Season 2, Season 3, absolute crap. Season 4 never existed. It's not real. But Season 1 and 2 are decent. Season 1, absolutely amazing, triple S. Season 2, S, single S. Which I think is why I put it in double S. I'm gonna try and keep it just under an hour if possible, but I don't think it's gonna be possible. Then we have World Trigger here. World Trigger is a little known anime. It's not very popular, but it's a definite... Do I put it ahead of SAO? Maybe I do. It's really good. I think I will bump Hana back to A tier, just for a little bit more balance. But World Trigger is really, really good. It doesn't try any tricks of like this is a game or like it's this random ass person from another world came in. It's just a normal universe with humans, but these alien life forms sometimes infiltrate via portals and like murder humans and destroy buildings and stuff. So there's this agency called Border, which defends Earth and the city against those aliens called Neighbors. Yeah, I know, great writing there. And the story follows a guy who wants to join Border and become a defensive agent, but isn't that strong or powerful or anything. He's really smart, but he's just not that good with a sword, so he can't do much. But he befriends a friendly neighbor, an enemy who just like wants to hang out and just walks around like la la la. Wait, what's going on? And of course, everybody is thrown into chaos because like what? Wait, we're keeping an enemy here now, friendly, and he's not dangerous. What's going on? But he just does his thing and he doesn't care, and he's like, okay, you know what? Life is beautiful, and that's really cool. Really good anime. New season is now coming out. I really don't want to spoil too much because it gets really like interesting and complicated, and there's so many plot twists, and it's so great. Really little people know about it. If you like action and comedy, this is an anime for you. Action comedy, amazing, absolutely amazing. Black Clover, definite S tier for me. Not double S or triple S. I initially actually forgot about Black Clover, and then somebody pointed out like, hey, wait, you didn't mention Black Clover, and I was like, oh yeah, that's actually a really good one. It's a newer anime. It came out, I think, in like 2018, 2019, 2020, something like that. New season is currently still airing and it has like 150 episodes. I'll have info on the side of the screen. But yeah, really, really cool anime. It's about this world where everyone is ruled by magic, basically, and the amount of magic that you're born with basically decides your social stature and place in life. Normally, of course, royals and like barons and baronets, all like the high class people, have really high magic capacity, therefore are really popular and like rule the world. But then what happens if you get two orphans, one born without magic at all whatsoever, and one born with a ton of magic, like an absolute crap ton. But they're little orphans from, you know, like out nowhere. So nobody can really basically be like, yes, no, I trust them, or I acknowledge them. And they both want to become the Wizard King, which is like the ruler of everything. But obviously one kid has no magic, so how's he going to become the Wizard King? And I actually think he has a decent shot at it. I won't spoil how he does it or how he tries it. Really interesting. First season, amazing. Second season, amazing. Third season, a bunch of filler art. There are like 40 episodes which don't progress the story at all. Absolutely hate it. But now they're starting with the newest season, and it's really good up to now. And they're really starting to pick up pace again, and it's renewed my interest. Otherwise, I would have put it in A tier, probably. And then we get another really interesting anime. That time I got reincarnated as a slime. What a name. And it is difficult for me. Definite double S or triple S. Is it better than Tokyo Ghoul? Writing wise, no. Entertainment wise, yes. Is it better than Overlord? Writing wise, yes. Entertainment wise, no. So I think I'm gonna put these three like right there in their little huddle. But Naruto. No, but fillers. I can't. That time I got reincarnated by a slime is about this dude again who got killed in real life in Japan and got reincarnated as a slime in this magical world. And as a slime, he is like a really low level and he really can't do much, and he just tries to live his life out. But he has this special power called devouring, which basically means that whatever he eats, he gains the properties of. So, for example, if he eats a frog, now first of all, he has frog powers, but also he can become a frog. If he eats a scorpion, now he has poison, and he can become a scorpion. If he eats a dragon, now he can become a dragon. And it's like really funny because like at first you're like, that's just a slime, that can't be that interesting. But then all of a sudden, oh, he's actually really powerful, and it's just a big contrast between like visuals and like actual inner power. Really funny, really great, highly recommend it. I think I'm gonna leave it in double S tier here. A lot of double S tiers I'm noticing. I actually kind of like this curve. Okay, we've officially passed the 1 hour mark, and as such I think I'm going to close down the video. As a final remark, I'm going to say that all of my anime in triple S are animes that have changed the way either I think of writing or have made me like rethink anime in general, or like staples in my mind of when I think of anime, I think of those. And when I'm looking at this list, those 6 definitely belong up there. Some of the double S's, again, Sword Art Online, the first season, definite triple S, amazing, but the rest kind of ruined it for me. Same with Tokyo Ghoul, otherwise that would be up there as well. So yeah, this is my list. I hope I've given you some context. I hope I've helped maybe some of you avid anime viewers to try and think of what you want to do, which anime you want to watch. For action anime, first one to watch, One Punch Man, easy, or Seven Deadly Sins. Those two anime, really accessible, both on Netflix, really funny, really well written. One Punch Man, a little bit shorter than Seven Deadly Sins, so that's why I put that first. For people who don't want to watch an action anime with punching and dying and fighting and stuff, Hana or Ascendence of a Bookworm, 2 amazing anime who are really high on my list as well. Of course, this may like seem like the anime in B tier are like quote unquote low, but you gotta remember I've watched like over 250 different anime, and this is just the top. What is that? That's 20. Wait. How much is this? Oh, this is actually a block. 20, that's 30, 32. Yes? Because, no, yes, 32. Wait, what, how did I forgot how I put the things. I think I put it like this, no. Oh no, I messed up. No, I can't have done that. It wasn't than this. I think it was this. Or no, Haikyuu doesn't belong there. It was this, I think, maybe. Wait, like Clover double S? No. Psychopath double S? Maybe. Parasyte double S. I forget. You'll see it back in the video. But yeah, no. So if I want to close this out, I'm just gonna say, most of these amazing. There are a lot down here that I wouldn't recommend, and that I just will have watched once. I was like, okay. There are also a lot of anime that are on this list that are definitely better than some of these B tier anime, but just didn't stick with me as much. To name one, Boku no Hero Academy. Really good anime, just didn't really do it for me. It's definitely writing-wise and entertainment-wise like an A or an S tier, but just it didn't do it enough for me. It wasn't distinctive enough for me to go on this list. And there are a few others. And then this is where I'm gonna leave you guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed. I hope I've made you inspired to maybe watch a new anime. Find the time. Anime is an amazing medium. It's a way to tell a story that no other medium can. And I really hope that you can find some usefulness in the information I've given you. So yeah, I'll see you next time.